We ready?
Yep.
I'll just open it up to you guys.
So did you feel like you took a step forward?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna try to find some positives. The areas that are the most unpleasant for me was that if you were at the Vandy game, and if that was a prize fight, then Vandy threw more punches than us and landed more, and as a result, won the game in a pretty comfortable fashion. They were the more aggressive team. Tonight, I think Western Kentucky threw more punches and landed more, and I thought they were the more aggressive team. And that can't be the case, and we have stressed nothing but that leading into this game, and we didn't get the carryover that I was looking for. I told our group, you guys have heard me say this many a time, but we have stats called play through contact. That means I've got to be able to play through. I guess in football they call it YAC, yards after contact. For us, it's similar. There's going to be bodies in your way, and you've got to be able to play through them in an effective manner. The best teams that I've ever had can do it at about at least a minimal of a 55% rate. This team is under 50% woefully. And I bet you not only are we not doing it offensively, but we're also not doing it defensively. I bet you there was a 30-point swing. The naked eye would tell me them playing through us and us not playing through them, I bet you cumulatively it was about a 30-point swing. That's a big thing to overcome when it comes down to physicality and aggression and playing with force, which has really been our mantra from day one. And then number two, when you go 15 for 31 from the free throw line, and 2 of those were front ends, according to my staff, man, you're fortunate that you're even in the game. I think this is really good for us because it made us play, in much tenser moments down the stretch than the other night. And, Ahmad rose up there and shot that ball in with confidence, which I think is good for him. And then at the end, if we could have just kept the ball in front of us, but we didn't keep it in front of us all night. And then, Western Kentucky, they made some threes. I don't remember many pull-up twos, tough twos, which is what we're trying to get them to do. That would have been the ideal situation to kind of shrink the floor, make them get to about 16 feet and shoot one over us like we were having to do all night. Instead, it was just a blow-by on the ball. After Ahmad had made the shot, we just let him blow right by us and go lay it up to take an L. So I want them to be really, really disappointed because I'm really, really disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself for not being able to help this group more. And I have got to figure out between now and Monday when they count for real a better way for us to play. I don't like the way we're playing. I don't think we really have an identity, and I don't think we're good at anything. And we've got to be good at something. It's going to be a long year.
Coach, you're talking about the physicality. I feel like Jacob embodies that perfectly. He had the most minutes on the court tonight, and he just did not seem to get tired at all.
No, he is in great shape. He ended up getting up 20 balls. It's amazing to me. He's a pretty good shooter. His shot's a little unorthodox, and the ball comes off a little wacky, and his hips are a little wacky. But he's more of a scorer than a shooter. But it was 1 for 6 from 3 and 1 for 4 from the free throw line. Again, if you're going to try to win hard games, because we don't really have anybody else doing it. I thought Ahmad, made some plays for us. He ends up with about 18 points. We're not finishing well enough inside. And then some guys we brought in here to be playmakers just haven't done it yet. Some of them haven't done it at the Division I level. It's going to take some time. They need some confidence. They need to break through. But as I told Radio, man, if I was in the business of distributing confidence, then I'd be in Vegas on the Strip right now at about doing 3 shows a night at about $90 a pop, Steve. I wouldn't be here. Confidence is about demonstrated ability, and I can't give you that. What I can do is I can practice you and tell you what I see and then hold you accountable to a standard. Then you got to go out there and do it. And I think until we do that, there's going to be, hopefully we can feel a collective exhale, because I see a bunch of lost souls right now looking at me like, what's going on? Because we just haven't given in to breaking some of these bad habits.
Outside of maybe the playing through contact, were there any positives, though, in terms of the effort?
I thought we played hard. And I thought we competed better in the second half inside. Again, you just can't lose effort areas. You can't lose physicality. And you certainly can't do that if you're not being really good on the other end. We've had teams where maybe we weren't great in those areas certain nights, but we can jump up there and snap off 9 threes at 50%, or we can get to the free throw line and make 75%. When you're not shooting the ball well, it really exacerbates all those lost opportunities of those one-on-one opportunities at the rim. And those are things that we can control. So those are the things that we'll continue to focus on.
Do you like Ahmad taking mid-range shots? Or
Yeah, I think he's good at it.
Okay.
I think honestly, that's kind of what he's good at. I don't think at this level, it's the highest level he's ever played. Unless he's in the open floor, it's hard for him to finish all the way at the basket. And I think he's pretty good because he's strong and powerful. I kind of like him in the mid-range. And then you know, he's got to be more efficient. Tonight he was 3, 4, 5 from 3, which is a good indication. He's got to be able to knock down shots. But again, we do these for a reason. I think next year, Hank and I are friends, and we've talked about it. We talked about it when he first got the job last year. Was his first year, and so obviously a lot of things are coming at him. First year head coach. So that's why we did these scrimmages. We went there, they came here. I think we're going to be able to do something in the regular season next year. And I think that'll be good. They're a good program. We've had great rivalries with them. It's an easy travel, and it's something that hopefully our people will be excited about, because I think they're a good team. And I think it's good for us to play 2 good teams, and we've got to learn from it, because now they start going on my name. Ooh, I don't like it when they go on my name if it doesn't go out, if it doesn't go good.
You said a minute ago about trying to find a better way to play. Obviously you don't have a lot of time. How do you do it that quickly? How do you?
I try to control it a little more. I've kind of given them more control because I wanted to see if they would take it. You know, a lot of people always preach ownership. The best teams that I've ever been around have been owned by the players. But I've learned as a coach, if you're holding the reins really tight and you want them to take ownership, that doesn't really work out. You got to kind of let them go a little bit and see who's going to grab it and steer the wagon. And so I've done that, you know, purposefully, and we've blown a couple of tires. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to keep doing that. I may need to grab those reins a little tighter.
Chapman provide a little bit of a spark off the bench. How big is it to have a 6'8" guy that can shoot, and do you foresee him kind of holding a big role?
Yeah, that's what he is. I thought he was good. He's 1 rebound away from a double-double. Ev plays extremely hard. He's a great kid. He's never played a Division I game until these last 2 exhibitions. He goes for 10 for 9. He's a stretch 4. I thought he was really the catalyst in the first half, and we were struggling. We're going to continue to need big efforts from him. You know, we played Joe just a little bit. Again, I explained to you, it's hard to get past 5 guards. You can get to 6, but you got to really be strategic to do it. And tonight we didn't. And then it's hard to go past 3 bigs. You can get to 4. We got to 4 tonight, but not in any meaningful manner with Big Joe. So our front rotation right now has been Kyron and Daniel and Evan, and we need those guys to continue to improve.
And then you had such a great effort from Gooch off the bench, and then you start him. He doesn't have as great of a game. Was it just a coincidence, or do you think he plays better off the bench, or what do you think the difference?
You know what? I was just trying to shake it up a little bit. I have not been happy. I think, you know, there's 4 guys I think we would all agree upon. These are the guys that we've seen that are probably your best 4 in the starting 5, and then we're still looking for that 5th, and we'll be searching for him moving forward.
I know that practice free throws are different than game free throws, but did you see signs of in practice of some struggles that you might struggle there?
We do a thing called pressure free throws. I mean, we rep them, but, you know, you've got to do that before practice, after practice. You know, you only got so many baskets. You got to get reps and whatever. And you got to create something called muscle memory through repetition. But we do a thing called pressure free throws. We'll outrun them at the end of practice if they don't make 9 out of 12. And this team's run more than any team I've ever had. So, yeah, I've seen this. But I'm hoping that it simulates it to the point where, again, it just comes down to force and authority and confidence and belief. I don't sense a lot of that right now, but it's hard to play that way if the result is not where you need it to be and you're continually breaking down. So once we stop all of the breakdowns, things that we can control, I think you'll see body language change. I think you'll see a little more swag in how we play, but you can't do that unless you're getting the desired result.
Does this team have the ceiling to be as successful as it needs to be?
I hope so. I think it's way too early. I mean, obviously we're disappointed that we're not playing better. I've got a lot of time and energy put into, okay, I thought this was what we could do. Maybe we can. Maybe it's a little too early to shift directions, but I am leaning toward making some changes just because schematically I think it's my responsibility to manipulate the game. That's what the coach is supposed to do. And so I've got to be able to manipulate it in a way that I think is in our team's best interest, and I'm still trying to figure that out, quite frankly.
Anything else?
Thanks.